This has become an all-too-familiar activity for Bo Zhang. The former lawmaker is on his way to a Hong Kong courthouse to attend a hearing.
Many of the defendants today are my friends, so I've come to show my support.
His friends risk up to 10 years in prison for organising the pro-democracy primaries in 2020. After almost 2 years waiting behind bars, the date of their trial is to be announced. But Bo's friends aren't the only ones in this situation.
These days we're feeling more and more disillusioned. Day after day, you hear about people being sentenced to 2 or 5 years in prison. I don't recognise Hong Kong anymore.
Since the implementation of the national security law in 2020, Hong Kong's judicial system has been flooded with hearings. Political figures, lawyers, journalists and activists have been sent to trial one after the other, often found guilty, then imprisoned. 1,300 people have been sent behind bars for the 2019 protest movement alone. That Chai spent almost 3 years on the other side of these walls.
Every time I come back here, it brings back a lot of emotions and bad memories. But even though it was hard, it was an important and significant moment in my life.
After his release, his criminal record made finding work difficult, so he opened a grocery store.
This is the new address of our shop.
He met his business partner in prison. Both were jailed after the pro-democracy protests. Nowadays, they don't air their political opinions. Instead, they discreetly pay tribute to their former comrades.
This drawing represents political prisoners, those who are absent at New Year's family meals. These 4 characters mean, do not forget.
Even the smallest political reference can be dangerous, but for these men, some risks are worth taking.
If I don't even dare do something this small anymore, is it still worth being a human?
Criticizing the authorities can now be considered illegal in Hong Kong. It's a situation that has stifled dissent. But despite this, some organizations continue their work. Chan Po-ying is the leader of the League of Social Democrats. Most of her colleagues are in prison.
In my opinion, Hong Kong's government is doing everything it can to control and destroy civil society.
Chan faces increasing intimidation from the authorities.
If we set up a stall on the street, the police will watch us all day and film us the whole time. These videos can then be used as evidence against us.
These activists are having to tread a fine line, always keeping an eye on how the rules change. We meet up again with former pro-democracy legislator Bo Zhang, this time at the studio of his radio station that was created in 2006. These news shows are banned from the airwaves, but they're still broadcast online. Much of their free-spirited tone remains, but now creators are more cautious with the content.
In the past, we would criticise our government's mistakes all the time, but the national security law has limited our freedom of expression. No one knows when we will be charged.
One by one, independent media outlets have shut down, leaving more than 1,000 journalists out of a job. 5 former employees of the website Stand News have opened a bookstore dedicated to journalism, and in their archives, they've collected pro-democracy newspapers.
Before emigrating from Hong Kong, a reader donated the last edition of Apple Daily to us. Our clients know that we can keep them.
Apple Daily has become an artifact of the pro-democracy movement. Known for its critical stance towards Beijing, the rare voice of opposition closed in June 2021. Now, this bookseller is worried about the future of the press in Hong Kong.
I'm very pessimistic. I teach journalism at university, and the number of students who want to still study this field has dropped dramatically.
According to Reporters Without Borders' Press Freedom Index, Hong Kong has fallen from 18th place to 148th in just 2 decades, a decline that reflects Beijing's takeover of the territory.